Hi, my name's Tonkin, and I'm the founder of the Child Protection Party. As many of you may be aware, we were not able to meet our registration requirements with the AEC in time. However, this has meant that we as an executive have decided to support me as the independent candidate at the coming election. What this means is that all the Child Protection Party stands for will be embedded in my policies and the way in which we conduct ourselves during this campaign. There are a few things that one needs to understand. The first, I guess, is that there is no other party that represents the cause of children and their parents as does the Child Protection Party, and particularly as me, as the founder of that party, and in this case as an independent candidate. For years I've been fighting to have parents heard and for kids to be cared for by the state in a way which is mindful of them and which takes into account all the considerations required for their better well-being. It has been a battle that I have fought for many, many years, and it seems up until this point I've not been the victor. And of course kids and parents have been the losers. From this point on though, we are fighting for children, for the rights that children should have in order to be heard and to have a voice in their own care. We as parents and as adults and as voters need to take into consideration our communal responsibility in caring for these children. If you care for kids, if it's important for you to make sure that we have a healthier society in which our kids can feel safe and are cared for appropriately, then it's important that you vote for me at the next election. Over the years, I've attempted to have other people, particularly politicians, listen to what I had to say. In fact, 4 years ago, I met with Nick Xenophon at Parliament House in Canberra to talk to him about child protection issues to see if I could elicit some support from him. However, it was great disappointment that Nick fobbed me off. That I met with him for 15 minutes because he had another more important engagement and told me straight out that he knew nothing about child protection and that could I write down any of my requirements or what I was thinking, or what I wanted, and let him know. This was an indicator that Nick didn't have any understanding of child protection. It is true that no other federal member really does. The only times we ever hear any issue around child protection is when there's issues around children in detention, whether it's about the inquiry into institutional sexual abuse, or whether it's about some other issue in relation to the family court. Not that I'm suggesting that those issues are not important. They are. They are also part of our agenda. But the broad issue around child protection is of great concern to us. We accept that it is everybody's problem and that something needs to be done to ensure that children remain safe. The Child Protection Party is established with a series of policies, and me as their independent candidate will ensure that those policies are exhibited, are talked about, and that the conversation with regard to kids is not left wanting. Everybody needs to take responsibility for what happens to children. Everybody should care about children that are in care. Everybody should care about children that are at risk of being taken into care. And everybody should care about the parents who struggle in order to parent properly. The trouble that we have in our society today is that people just don't seem to care. It's not until there's an issue such as Chloe Valentine or baby Ebony that we seem to want to take any notice at all. And once we do take notice, it seems to be short-lived. It makes the front page for a while, it's talked about occasionally, and then slowly it vanishes from sight. We want child protection to be an issue which is on everybody's lips all the time, because we believe that kids are important, that the well-being of kids are important. That having children that feel safe and secure, nurtured and loved, means that those children will grow up into responsible adults. However, what we do notice is that those children that are taken into care have 3 times worse outcomes than other children, that Indigenous kids have 6 to 10 times worse outcomes than others. We notice that the system has not changed in the last 30, 40 years. In fact, More children are being taken away from their families now than at any other time in our history. We are breeding another forgotten generation. We have established another stolen generation. It is now time, though, that we have to say enough is enough. Politicians don't care. So we need to. We need to ensure that our children are safe. We need to ensure that the system which currently is in place, which is often as dysfunctional as the people that we're supposed to be dealing with, needs to change. And we need to find ways to change that system. From the family court and the injustices perpetrated against parents whose kids are often removed and placed with pedophiles and other people who hurt and harm those children, to a system where child protection needs to be managed and overseen by a federal body as opposed to state bodies who are not coordinated, who don't refer people from one state to another, where people ignore boundaries. So we need to ensure that the system is something different from what it currently is, because we all know that it simply doesn't work. So a vote for me, Tony Tonkin, will change all of that, because never again will children be ignored. Never again will parents find that they don't have the services available to them in order to help them to become better parents. The time has come for us to stop labelling parents as the problem and recognise that a community and a system that does not support them is the problem. Our role is to break the cycle, and breaking the cycle starts now.